guys, it's Kyle at Whistling Dixie Farms, and today I'm in the kitchen and I am talking about this goopy mess, which is cooked chicken, and I'm going to be making this into bone meal that will be eventually then used for dog food and dog treats for my two dogs. And I just wanted to kind of talk you guys through it and explain what it is because it's super easy to make. I, like many other homesteaders, raise broiler chickens every year, and when we process them, we like to cut up the carcass and package the leg quarters and the breasts and the wings separately, and then that leaves me with the neck and the back of the chicken. And so I will take those after processing and I throw them in a stock pot and I make chicken broth. You can see I just canned a couple jars of that tonight. So the meat and the bones go in the pot for about 6 hours or so cooking, and that's how we end up with this kind of murky looking broth because of all the good stuff it takes out of the bones. After that 6 hours, I strain out the all the solids, so the meat and the bones from the broth, and put it in a crock pot, and then add more water, fresh water, just enough to cover all of the bones. And then that sits in the crock pot for another 18 to 24 hours on low. And what happens over that 24 hours of cooking is the bones break down and a lot of the vitamins and good stuff comes out of that into the broth. But then also the bones get super soft and crumbly. So that's the sternum bone there. So I take the liquid from there, that goes back in with the chicken broth. That's kind of why it's that murky color. That's all the like the gelatin and stuff that cooks out of the bone. It's a lot of good vitamins and stuff. But anyways, you're left over with this kind of sludgy looking mess, which is, like I said, useful when you've got puppies. There's Piper and Dixie. So I take this and I'm going to run it through my meat grinder here, and it makes kind of almost looks like ground beef when it's done. Some people also will run that through a food processor or a blender, just to break it up. And so here we go. Somebody always is excited about this process. All right, we'll go ahead and squish that down a bit. So I run the coarsest grinder, and you can see here we're dripping out, but there we go. Turn that off. You guys can see what we had here. This ended up a little bit more wet than usual. Usually it kind of, like I said, comes out about like hamburger consistency, but just like that, it's ready to use for the dogs. You can put that. All right, we're all done. I've got my bowl of ground chicken meal for the dogs, and I like to use this in a couple different ways. You can just scoop some on top of their regular dog food as a top dressing. You can freeze this like in ice cube trays, and it makes really good treats like that. Otherwise, I also make homemade dog treats. One particular recipe I like is to put this, eggs, and oat flour together, and I just kind of mix it up until it makes about a cookie dough type consistency, and then bake them, and then the dogs get nice, yummy chicken treats that are good for them, don't have any weird stuff. So, definitely all things in moderation. You don't want to give too much of this any one time. It's pretty rich. You might give them an upset stomach just from how rich it is. But other than that, it's really good for them. This is pretty much, when you look at your dog food label, and one of the first ingredients is chicken meal, that's this. So something that's used commercially as well. But this is made from my own homemade chickens, homegrown chickens. So I know exactly what's in this bowl pretty much. So encourage you guys to try this, because not only do you get delicious broth, but then you get can make the chicken meal as well. So I hope you guys all have a great day, and thanks for joining me.